Welcome to First in Fantasy. Today, I'm going to be giving you the 7 players that I am absolutely all in on this year. These are guys I'm staking my claim in, my ride or dies for you Matthew Berry fans out there. 7 guys I believe are going to outperform their ADP, 7 guys I believe are being drafted too low, and 7 guys that are going to win you your league. Why are we doing 7 players today? Because lucky number 7. I'm all in on these players, sort of a gambling term. If you stick around to the end of this video as well, I'm a huge film fanatic, and I will be dropping my favorite 7 gambling, heist, casino-esque movies just for fun. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, please, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that would be awesome. All right, let's get started. Number one, we are going to be talking about Saquon Barkley. Remember, 2 years ago, this guy was the rushing champ. He was the RB1. He went over 2,000 yards. He won a Super Bowl in his first season with the Eagles. He was absolutely electric, jumping over people's heads. He was like a video game character from NFL Blitz. Now, last season that came down. He had just under 1,200 yards, rushing at 4 yards a carry. That is not good by his standards. But here's the thing. Kevin Patullo was his offensive coordinator, who's a first-year offensive coordinator. The worst job I've ever seen by any coach, ever. A.J. Brown couldn't stand him. Saquon Barkley couldn't stand him. Jalen Hurts couldn't stand him. Nobody liked this guy, and he is gone. Saquon was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage over 45% of the time he rushed the ball. It's amazing he even had 4 yards per carry. That was second most in the NFL, only behind Ashton Genty. He turns 29. He is not 30 yet. He's not hit that scary number, and I predict a massive bounce back. From everything I'm seeing from news reports, vibes in Eagles camp are much higher this season. Jalen Hurts seems much happier. Saquon seems much happier. And that is a big deal because I really have never seen Saquon as frustrated as I have last season. Every time he was getting hit, he was spiking the ball into the ground. He was frustrated. The schemes were awful. Now here's a good thing. His line, his offensive line, the Eagles is usually one of the best in the league. It's one of the things they pride themselves on. They were very injured last year. So far, all healthy. This has potential to be an elite offensive line and elite running game. And I just can't see Saquon. He's going early to mid second right now in half PPR formats. That to me is his absolute floor. Like last season was the worst he's ever looked, and it wasn't him as a player. It was just the scheme. He's still Saquon. He still had those electric runs. He had no injuries. And if he falls to me, I am grabbing him every single time. I believe he has top 5 running back upside, and he's way going to outperform what he did last year, which was RB13. All right, on to our next guy, and that is Nico Collins of the Houston Texans. He is currently going in mid to late second and even early third. I'm seeing him drop to that spot a lot. Now, I get it. This dude struggles to stay healthy. But even being banged up a ton last year and missing a bunch of games, he still went over 1,000 receiving yards and had over 15 yards per catch. It was his 3rd straight 1,000-yard season, and in my opinion, this dude is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He is right there with the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chase, the Puka Nacua. His issue is health. Here's the good news coming into this season. He has 0 health issues thus far. Now, normally, I like to avoid injury-prone players. But with where Nico Collins is going, he is way too cheap, and he has way too much upside to avoid at this spot. He has potential to finish as the overall wide receiver 1. That is not hyperbole. I am not over-exaggerating when I say that. He is that good. Also, the Texans getting Tank Dell back, and Tank Dell is looking very spry and fast so far in camp. It is going to open up a lot of routes for Nico Collins as he gets double teamed often, and he beats those double teams. So imagine if he can stay healthy, if he's seeing less double teams, and if CJ Stroud can get on path, he has potential to be the overall wide receiver 1, and you can get him at round 3 value. That's incredible. Next, we are going to Kansas City, and we are going to be talking about wide receiver Rashee Rice. He is currently going like end of the 2nd, top of the 3rd, which I think is a fair value for him. But I truly see like top 6 wide receiver upside really locked in for him as long as he can stay healthy, which was a problem, and as long as he doesn't have any off-field issues, which is technically, legally, right now, no longer a problem. He does not come into this season having to worry about a suspension or anything like that. When he was fully active last season, he was averaging like 15, 16, 17 points a game. It felt like Mahomes was only throwing to him, and that's because Rashee Rice is a really, really good football player. He can basically run any route. He's tall, he's fast, he has good hands, he's good at cutting, he's good at breaking through tackles, he's good in the open field. He's really good at everything. The only reason he hasn't been in that elite category or mentioned there, he's like right beneath it, is because of those injuries, because of the off-field issues. But if he can come back, have one full season with Patrick Mahomes having a full season, I easily see him as a wide receiver in the top 6 with upside to potentially get to that 3 to 4 range. The talent is there, and I'm a big believer in Rashee Rice and Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to him later in this video. Next, we're going to be talking about one of the quarterback steals of the draft, in my opinion, and that is Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts on my quarterback board going at number 2. However, right now, he is going in the mid to late 6th round. The way people talk about Jalen Hurts last season in this awful Kevin Patullo offense, a year removed from him winning the Super Bowl and just being elite the entire year through the regular season and postseason, throwing the ball, running the ball, rushing touchdowns, passing touchdowns, it's very similar to Saquon. And you know, people bash on A.J. Brown, people bash on Saquon, people bash on Jalen Hurts. Yeah, do you really think all 3 of these players in their primes had generational drop-offs last season at the exact same time when they're still in their primes? Or do you think someone came in and ruined the scheme and ruined the vibe like Kevin Patullo? That's what I'm betting on. And I think Jalen Hurts gets back to his elite self this season. And it's not even like Jalen Hurts was terrible last season. The passing yards were bad. He only threw for 3,200, but he had 25 passing touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. That's phenomenal. That's greater than a 4-to-1 ratio. He also had over 400 yards rushing and another 8 rushing touchdowns. You guys, that floor is fantastic. He's going to keep that minimum this season, and those passing yards are probably going to be closer to 4,000. And I'd love to see those rushing yards get up about another 100. I have always been a big believer in Jalen Hurts, and I'm betting everything on him this season. I am all in. Next, we're going to be talking about Carnell Tate of the Tennessee Titans. This dude was drafted as the 4th overall pick in the draft this year, and the overall number 1 wide receiver taken in the draft. He's currently going in the late 6th to 7th round. I'm not hearing almost anyone talk about this guy. Now, I get it. I am not a Cam Ward guy. I did not see it last season. I don't like the way he lines up in the pocket. I think he's way too relaxed. He looks a little too cocky to me, and he looked dreadful all year. But that being said, he did not have a lot of weapons, and it was his first season, and he was going to one of the worst franchises in the NFL. And I'm going to give him credit here. The last 4 or 5 games of the season, when he just decided to cut loose and turned into Cam Ward, the gunslinger from college, he was a lot more fun to watch. He was a lot more productive on the stat sheet. Sure, he was throwing up more interceptions, but also the touchdowns, the yards, they all increased. And I think that's something he kind of learned. He was like, you know what? It's the NFL. I'm going to have to start taking risks to see reward. And yeah, there's going to be some bumps along the way, but that's how I'm going to grow as a quarterback. He gets Brian Daboll as an offensive coordinator this year. That is a huge upgrade. He gets an actual wide receiver 1 in Carnell Tate, who is a beast and can basically do everything at every level of the field and run every single route. He's also great in the deep game, so we can see those big explosive touchdowns to him. And we know Brian Daboll, if he has a true alpha wide receiver 1, he feeds him. I see Carnell Tate going over 1,000 yards, likely having at least 6+ touchdowns, which I think is incredible value at this range. That is, you know, call him a little mini Mike Evans, but you're getting him in the 6th, 7th round here. I really like Carnell Tate. And if there's one rookie wide receiver I'm believing in this year, it is him. He's also a good bet to win Rookie of the Year, so head on over to your favorite sports book, since this is sort of gambling themed video, and throw that down. 2 players left today. Next one is Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, the 3rd best quarterback in NFL history. And he is going in the late 8th to 9th round. That is such a steal. I have seen this story before. I get it. Patrick Mahomes got injured last season, but before he got hurt, he was like a top 3 quarterback in points per game for fantasy football last year. And I've seen this story before with other Hall of Fame greats. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. You know what all these guys have in common? Right around Patrick Mahomes' age, they suffered a massive injury, and they came back even better. Patrick Mahomes is the smartest quarterback in the NFL. He might not do absolutely anything the best besides having the best clutch gene and knowing how to manage a game at an elite level and throwing off script. Okay, maybe he can do some stuff the best. But the disrespect he's getting right now is off the charts. If you're telling me I can wait on quarterback and get Patrick Mahomes in round 9, that's unbelievable. I am putting my flag down on this guy. If he wins another Super Bowl in his lifetime, which is likely, he is going to move up to the second best quarterback of all time. You're really telling me this guy who still has so much mileage left on his legs and in his career that you aren't going to take him right now to bounce back and be a stud this year? That's crazy to me. You need to go get Patrick Mahomes if he falls to you. It's a great year to wait on quarterback. There's a ton of depth. All right, last but not least, we are going to be talking about tight end Isaiah Likely, no longer of the Baltimore Ravens. He is now with the New York Giants. He actually followed John Harbaugh to New York. John Harbaugh recruited him. Isaiah Likely was always in a strange situation. He was behind Mark Andrews, and he kind of came in right after Mark Andrews had peaked, and Mark Andrews had a big drop-off, and anytime we got to see Isaiah Likely on the field, he dominated. He has top 5 tight end talent, and he is in the prime of his career right now. He gets to go to New York, become the alpha tight end 1 there for Jackson Dart, who's very young. He's only in his second year. Young quarterbacks love their tight ends. John Harbaugh loves to include his tight ends. And with Malik Neighbors out, this guy actually has a path to be their number 1 offensive passing and receiving weapon. He started off hot last year, but his season was derailed by a foot injury. I think John Harbaugh knows exactly how much of a beast this guy is and that he is going to be featured in this offense. He's currently going in like the 10th round. You can get him as late as the 11th. He's being drafted like tight end 10 to 14. That's very late for a guy, in my opinion, that has top 5 tight end upside. Absolutely love Isaiah Likely. If he can avoid another weird foot injury this season, he is going to be knocking on that elite tight end production. So there it is. Those are my 7 players I'm going all in on this season. Money in the bank. Go to DraftKings, smash their overs. If these guys are falling to you in your draft, take all of them. If you stuck around for the entire video, please remember to like and subscribe. And as I promised, I'm going to be giving you my favorite 7 casino, gambling, heist movies in no particular order real quick. Got to go with Ocean's 11, and then I'll follow it right up with Ocean's 13. Yes, Ocean's 12 was a mess, but Ocean's 13 was sneaky, so good. I love it so much rewatchability. Casino, obviously, Scorsese, amazing movie. Casino Royale, my favorite James Bond of the Daniel Craig films and of all time. I could rewatch it over and over again. This one's an indie film. We're gonna go with Mississippi Grind with Ryan Reynolds and Ben Middleton. It's such a gem. Go watch Mississippi Grind if you have not watched it. Rounders, obviously, best poker movie ever made. Watched that just a few months ago. It still holds up to this day. I can rewatch that over and over again. And then let's get some lady action in there. We're gonna go with Molly's Game. Molly's Game, super awesome movie that surrounds poker, gambling, skirting the law a little bit, high profile celebrities. It's a really great film, and Jessica Chastain's amazing in it. All right, there you go. Thanks so much. Have a great day.